Yes, this is the entrance to the cave, and here workers have just started leaving because this rescue effort can now wind down. They've been celebrating as they left. We've heard people applauding and cheering. This nation is happy at the news that has filtered out from that cave. And look at that. That is the 10th ambulance, pardon me, the 12th ambulance to have left this site now over the last 3 days. That, we assume, is carrying the last boy to have been freed, because 3 ambulances today already have left this site, taking the 9th, 10th and 11th boy to be freed to hospital. We think that will be the 12th, and that means that there is just the coach who was freed from the cave in the last hour or two, who is still being assessed there at the rescue tents that have been set up around the cave mouth. We assume that he will be on his way to hospital shortly, and that will mean that 13 people have come out of that cave alive after this 18-day ordeal. Let's look back at how this rescue mission was actually pulled off. The guiding rope leading the way to safety. Just look what it's like for rescuers deep inside the Tham Luang cave. Tough to see, hard to hear, difficult to know what the next obstacle will be. This international team is part of an incredible effort of human endeavour, and so far they've overcome every challenge nature has thrown down. Those already in hospital are fine, say doctors, but they're being kept in isolation while their conditions assessed. There's concern about infections and diseases. They've lost weight, and food is being gradually reintroduced. Some have asked for chocolate. 8 days ago, they were found alive, but their ordeal wasn't over. They've learned to scuba dive to make it to the surface, squeezing through passages just 15 inches wide, where the divers guiding them have to take their air tanks off.
They are getting forced to do something that no kid has ever done before. It is not in any way normal for kids to do cave diving at age 11. And thinking about they being kept in a small cave for 2 weeks, they haven't seen their mom, incredibly strong kids.
But against all the odds, in such difficult conditions, they made it. They are all out at the surface, and we believe there's just one of the group left here at the cave entrance being checked over. Once he is on his way to hospital, then the rescuers have to get out. And let's make sure that they all do before the celebrations begin in earnest, because we learned earlier in this rescue operation just how dangerous that cave was. A former Thai Navy diver who'd come back here to volunteer his services lost his life as he was leaving that cave, having taken supplies to the boys. That underlined to everyone just how dangerous this operation was. The fact that an experienced diver who probably experienced these conditions many times before could die in that cave. How on earth, people wondered, would boys who couldn't even swim, some of them, make it out via the same way? Well, an international team of diving experts from around the world came here to northern Thailand. They worked together, they shared their expertise, their skills, they assessed the conditions, they explored all the options, but everything they looked at seemed so tough, almost impossible. This was an impossible jigsaw to actually solve. If they were to dig down from above, it would take too long, and the mountainous terrain here was just too hilly to even really start that, although they did explore a number of holes. They were talking about the option of just waiting for the water level to recede naturally. Well, that might have taken months. Could those boys really have survived in there for months, even with supplies being taken in? So that's why this audacious rescue plan was put together, and the cave diving experts who were in touch with the boys started teaching them to be comfortable in the water, to get familiar with wearing the face mask and breathing through it, and then to master some of the basic techniques of scuba diving so that they could make their way out through the flooded caves, through more than 2 miles of caverns to reach the surface. It took the experienced divers many hours to complete that journey, and the boys had 2 experienced divers with them, guiding them all the way, leading the way. And even in some of those narrowest bits, the boys have had to release their air supply tanks so that they could fit through such narrow passages. It's been described as an experience something like being flushed through the U-bend of a toilet, and probably in something close to darkness, not able to see where they're going or what the obstacles are. That underlines just how tough this has been, how difficult the odds were that were stacked against them. I think there were people here, although they may not have dared to say it, who thought there wouldn't be an entirely successful outcome to this operation, especially when that Navy diver lost his life. But somehow those boys had the strength, they had the self-belief, the determination, they kept faith that rescue would come and would be enacted. And that international team of divers applied their skills and carefully monitored the situation, trained the boys, and then guided them out with such intimate care, with such delicate cooperation to make sure that they all reached the surface. They've taken their time. It's been 3 days since the first boy came out. We saw 4 on the first day, 4 yesterday, and now the last 5 are out of the cave and on their way to hospital. But that is only really the start of their treatment and them getting over this ordeal, because they are weak after 18 days underground. They haven't had proper food, they haven't seen sunlight, so no doubt they're going to need time to recover and get over this ordeal. It'll probably be quite strange for them to get used to what they are now at the centre of, and that is most likely the last ambulance to leave. Ambulance number 13 leaving the cave site with its lights flashing. That is the 13th ambulance we've seen in that fashion to leave this cave, and that now means the last of the group on their way to hospital. And there's another round of applause here in recognition that this is mission accomplished. And what a mission, what a rescue, what a great escape. Fantastic news for everyone here, for people across Thailand, and for the watching world that has fixed its gaze on that cave entrance, a tense time while everyone waited for news. There's a World Cup on, but there was only one football team that most people wanted to follow, one drama that they were waiting to come out, and now we have that resolution. We have the successful conclusion that looked almost impossible just a few days ago. This is an incredible outcome, a phenomenal feat of human endeavour over the challenges that nature laid down, but it's been a successful rescue mission, and people will talk about the Tham Luang cave, such a great escape, for a long time to come.